Good morning from the office. This is BKP at 7 a.m. live Monday morning. You wake up this Monday morning in a state of emergency. Governor Deal has declared a state of emergency. I'm positive that Gilmer and Fannin are in that mix. I'm not for sure if Pickens is on the list. But we wake up in a state of emergency this morning in North Georgia, expecting a storm, winter storm. We're going to be talking live in a little bit after we get through some of our highlights. We're going to be talking live with EMA, Gilmer County EMA Director Tony Pritchett. Tony's agreed to talk to us this morning, give us some updates on what a state of emergency is and what we may expect or see this afternoon as the weather, this storm starts rolling in. So stay with us. We're going to talk to him live so you can get an update on that. I came out this morning. It is dry. It's currently dry. There's no moisture. I don't know about the higher elevation. So when I came out this morning, there's nothing yet. So we know that's coming in. And again, we're going to speak with EMA, Gilmer County EMA Director Tony Pritchett here in a little bit this morning concerning an update on the state of emergency. If you did not, I hope you had a nice weekend. It was Valentine's weekend. Today is President's Day. Everything is closed, so good opportunity to have a storm roll through. Everything's closed anyway for President's Day, and I hope you had a nice Valentine's weekend and everybody had a lot of fun. We got a lot of big sporting news. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you're in North Georgia and you're a Rebel fan, a Bobcat fan, or a Dragons fan, we've got news for you this morning we want to cover. But if you did not get that perfect night's sleep, you know how I like to start out, 7 a.m. in the morning, we got to talk about it. If you're just coming out of bed and you're saying, I did not get that perfect night's sleep that I expected, go over and see my friends at Mattress Overstocked. That's Mattress Overstocked next to Walmart and LJ. Go see Gary, Richard, or Rhonda, the mattress lady, for the best mattress at the best price. They truly want to help you sleep better. So go see my friends at Mattress Overstocked for that best price if you did not get that good night's sleep. Now let's get into sports. We got a lot of things we want to cover. Stay with us all morning long. Call your friends up and tell them to tune in. Go to FetcherNews.com. Click on Good Morning from the Office. Tune in. Our email address is on the bottom there, chief@FetcherNews.com. If you want to find out how to be a part of the show, as far as, we're looking for a producer from 6 to 9, Monday through Friday. Also, if you want to be a part of the show and make comments or send us any information or news in your area, send it to chief@FetcherNews.com. Let's start up in Fannin County for those Fannin County Rebel fans. Let's start up there. Fannin County High School Wrestling had its first state tournament win in 4 years. So way to go, Fannin Rebels. First state tournament win in 4 years. We're excited for you guys up there. And the first participants in 2 years, with Caleb Chansey finishing one match short of a guaranteed placing. Head coach David Hinson was very excited about the direction of the program and expects to have more participants in the coming years. So Caleb Chansey, congratulations, one match short of a guaranteed placing. But again, wrestling had its first state tournament win in 4 years. So Fannin County Rebels, sounds like Coach Hinson and you guys have the program going in the right direction in wrestling up there. So we're excited for you guys and what you guys have to come in the future. We're going to drop down to Pickens, staying with our wrestling, Pickens Dragons. Okay, Pickens Dragons, Kobe Milner won Pickens High School's first wrestling state championship in a decade. So way to go, Kobe Milner. And you Dragon fans out there, Kobe Milner won Pickens High School's first, you heard it here, first wrestling state championship in a decade when he became the Quad A state champion at 106 pounds. 106 pounds. Way to go, Kobe Milner, and you Dragon wrestling fans out there. Way to do it. Sounds like a lot of great wrestling programs that are up and coming and working hard in North Georgia to become really strong up here in this North Georgia area for wrestling. So congratulations to you Pickens Dragons fans. Now, Gilmer 15. Now, you ready, Bobcat fans out there? if you like, Bobcat fans, if you like the taste and the smell, again, you heard it here, if you like the taste and the smell of a state championship title, you can always count on those Bobcat wrestlers. We've got a lot of information to share with you about the Gilmer Bobcat wrestling team. They won its 15th state title. Every once in a while I got to check to make sure I'm reading this correctly, because that's pretty impressive, Bobcat fans out there, Coach Sam Snyder and all of your staff. The Gilmer High School Bobcat wrestling team won its 15th state title, winning the Quad A state title by 73 points over the second place to Marist. Okay, way to put Marist in their place. Anytime Marist loses, I'm okay with that. The Gilmer High School Bobcats wrestling team won its 15th, I know I'm repeating that, I can't get over it, winning a Quad A state title by 73 points over second place Marist. The Bobcats ended up with 10 place winners, 8 finalists, and 4 state champions. Lucas Patterson, 132. Jamie Lopez at 152, Matthew Waddell at 170, Levi Seabolt at 285, all won state championships. Way to go. Domingo Reynoso, Domingo Reynoso, 106, Trevor Pierce, 113, Marcelino Lopez, 120, and William Gooder, 145, all placed second. Alberto Lopez and Kagan Sharp placed 5th at 126 and 138 respectively. So there you go for wrestling, 15 state titles. Let me read those championships again real quick, just for you guys out there that maybe didn't hear it. The Bobcats ended up with 10 place winners, 8 finalists, and 4 champions. Lucas Patterson, 132, Jamie Lopez, 152, Matthew Waddell, 170, and Levi Seabolt, 285, all won state championships. So way to go. A lot of great wrestling news up here in North Georgia, down there in Macon this past weekend, and it's an exciting time. So way to go, Bobcats. Way to go, Dragons, and way to go, Rebels. If you have news, sports news, that you would like to get on FetcherNews.com, send it to LT, that's LT at FetcherNews.com. Send us your updates, your schedules, your scores, your highlights to LT, or if you got something going on that you would like for us to attend, please let us know, LT at FetcherNews.com. Follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, hashtag Team FYN Sports. So that's some big wrestling news from this past weekend. And before we get into our basketball news, we want to tell you, if you're up in Blue Ridge today and you're not stuck in the house, I understand a lot of people might just stay in, but if you're out and about today, stop in Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge and check out their Amish furniture. Perfect day to go strolling, browsing, and check out Amish furniture at Ace Hardware in Blue Ridge. Okay, now it is 7:08. Stay with us this morning. We told you when we started that we're going to be going to talk to Gilmer County EMA Director Tony Pritchett live here in a little bit, concerning an update on the state of emergency and what we can expect today and how to prepare and stay safe. If you go to Gilmer County, go to Facebook, go to Gilmer County EMA, and also Fannin has an EMA and Pickens has an EMA. So in your local county out there, go to Facebook. The EMA pages are really good. They keep up with a lot of stuff. I see here on the EMA Facebook page for Gilmer, there's been several inquiries made, early weather or not. The county is the county going to pre-salt and sand? Okay, the county's not going to pre-salt. The answer is no, because the limited availability of resources we have, anything that requires salting or sanding will take place after the onset. So they're not going to be out there pre-salting or sanding anywhere, for all of you that have called in or wondered on the Facebook page. So if you go to Facebook, go to Gilmer County EMA, Pickens County EMA, or Fannin EMA. They have all your updates that you can keep track of for this upcoming storm. And again, we'll be talking live here in a little bit to Chief Tony Pritchett here in Gilmer County concerning the storm. Let's go to basketball. And wow, did we have a lot of fun this weekend over at Southeast Whitfield. The 7 Quad A tournament took place this past weekend, and and there was a lot of great basketball over there. The big news this weekend for the Gilmer Lady Cats. They won the 7 Quad A championship with a win over Northwest Whitfield Lady Bruins. Okay, so that took place Saturday. They won the 7 Quad A championship that made them a #1 seed going into states. So let's go over real quick. Hannah Jones had 19 points. Emily Sanford had 14 points. But now I know all you Lady Cats are awesome. You all did a great job. Just sometimes somebody has to have that game. And when they were Northwest Whitfield was just they really try to take Bailey Charles out of the game. They meet her right at half court. They put the pressure on Bailey Charles. And Northwest Whitfield Lady Bruins, you did a great job. I've seen you play last time against the Lady Cats, and it was quite a very good game between all those young ladies. And my hat's off to the Northwest Whitfield Lady Bruins. But they pick up Bailey Charles at half court, and they're not going to give up nothing where she's concerned. So there's no choice for the Bobcats to have to go to all their players on the court. Now, one young lady that likes to throw some elbows, if you're out there listening, will come down with the basketball and also come up with 5 big points. And at the line at the end of the game, right at the end of the game, came up with some big points from the charity stripe. I want to give a shout out to Kaylee Deaton. Kaylee Deaton, you did an awesome job Saturday. All the Lady Cats did, but Kaylee, you really did. You did not quit at any time, and you got everything off those boards. If it came off the boards, Kaylee Deaton brought it in, and with 5 points. So my hat's off to Kaylee Deaton. Also, with that win, Championship Quad A, Lady Cats brought home the trophy. But it wasn't an easy game. In the first period, Lady Cats trailed 8-3. In the second period, they trailed 23-14, and in the third period, they trailed 31-28. They finished with the win 50-40. But this game, it came down to the end. It really did. And the Lady Cats just had a tough 3 periods there before they got it together and got over the top. Tuesday night, the Lady Cats will host, here at Gilmer, they will host a first-round playoff game. So we're excited about that. 6 o'clock over here at Gilmer High School. The Lady Cats they're a #1 seed. They will take on Madison, a #4 seed. They're Region 8 Quad A, Madison County. They're the #4 seed. 6 o'clock tomorrow night over here at Gilmer. The Lady Cats will take on Madison to start the tournament. So way to go, Lady Cats. Now let's talk about the Pickens Dragonettes. Again, it's 7:13. Stay with us. We'll be talking to Tony Pritchett here in a little bit, Chief of Gilmer County EMA, concerning the update on the storm coming in. Pickens Dragonettes were over Heritage Saturday, 53-49 in an overtime thriller. R.J. Casey, our guy in sports down there in Pickens, he was there. If you go to FetcherNews.com, click on Pickens County, Netties win an overtime thriller. Get ready for state tournament. That's R.J. Casey down there. The Netties beat the Heritage Lady Generals to secure the 3rd seed. The Netties will play at Chastity tomorrow, and Chastity is the #2 seed from 8 Quad A. The Netties secured #3 seed, and that's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Chastity. So go Dragonettes over there. Go over there tomorrow night and support them. And let's give a shout out to Haley Carlson. 17 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals. Autumn Young, 15 points, an assist, and a rebound. So go to FetcherNews.com, Pickens County, Nettie's win, overtime thriller. Get ready for state tournament. So again, that's also 7 Quad A over in Southeast Whitfield. The Pickens Dragonettes, congratulations on securing the 3rd seed to play tomorrow night. So we're off and running in state playoff basketball tomorrow night. Fetcher News will be at both of those games. And also, you can follow us at Fetcher News on Twitter, hashtag Team FYN Sports. That's hashtag Team FYN Sports. Send us anything concerning sports at ltfetchernews.com, ltfetchernews.com on sports. We know the spring sports, believe it or not, with a state of emergency in place, spring sports are starting. Baseball starting this week. Regular season is kicking off this week, so we plan to get all those schedules up there, start getting you highlights for baseball and tennis and track and field and soccer. So we're getting ready to kick those off again. If we do not have your schedules, your highlights, or anything where your spring sports are concerned, Park and Rec, LT at FetcherNews.com. Let's get it up here for you. Okay, so that is our sports. We're excited about that. We want to congratulate everybody again on those championship wins. Bobcats bringing home 15. Fannin for the first time in 4 years and first time in a decade for Pickens to get a championship. So way to go, everybody, all those young people. For one of the best hair care salons in North Georgia, go to Magic Touch Beauty Salon, located in Clock Tower 3 on Maddox Drive in LJ. Open 6 days a week from 8 to 6. Go to Magic Touch for Matrix and other must-have products. For that special touch you need for great hair care, remember, go to Magic Touch for that special touch. They can be reached at 706-635-5325. That's 706-635-5325. If you want to find out how to get your business on Good Morning from the Office, how to get your business highlighted on FetcherNews.com, you want to place an ad, go to chief@FetcherNews.com there, send me an email, or if you just want to be a Good Morning from the Office sponsor and have shout outs during our show, send me a message there and we'll get you on here as soon as possible. We need all of our viewers and listeners out there to go to our advertisers and tell them you heard their name on FetcherNews.com, Good Morning from the Office. Now, because of the state of emergency, we've held back on some other news locally that we may wanted to report, but we're going to go into a couple more things before we're going to talk about the House Transportation Bill. My thoughts, I have some thoughts on the House Transportation Bill. This is my line, all right? I want to give you this. Now, if you steal my line out there, and I want to see if I can get it clearly, nice and clear, I hope I'm the one that said this first. When they came out, and I know some of you out there are like, don't talk politics, don't talk politics. I promise we're not going to do a whole show on politics. But the supposed presidential candidates, okay? There's several out there being talked about, yes, already presidential candidates. And one is the Wisconsin Governor, Scott Walker. Scott Walker is now the front runner in the Republican Party of presidential candidates. So what does that mean? That means immediately we have to start attacking him, right? That's the rule, right? You have to attack him. You have to find things wrong with an individual. That's immediate. The mainstream media's got to start figuring out what's wrong with this guy. How could he be a front runner? How could anybody like this guy? I promise I won't talk politics all morning. But Scott Walker is being attacked for leaving college without graduating. Yes, I said it. He left college without graduating. Now, he has won several elections up in Wisconsin, but now they find that he left college without graduating. Is that a problem for you? Would you vote for somebody as president of the United States? Would you would you allow your president to be in office without finishing college? So that question to you, send me what you think at chief@fetyournews.com. Now, here's what I always say. I don't think I could be president for one reason. Many reasons I don't think I could be president, but I don't think I could be president because I didn't go to Harvard or Yale, so I do not have the education necessary to bankrupt a country. You understand? I don't have the necessary education to spend us into trillions of dollars of debt, increase the debt, or, I'm not a constitutional attorney, so I cannot bankrupt the country. I just don't have the education needed to bankrupt the country. So we need to continue to get and not just picking on Harvard or Yale, but we need to continue to get the most educated people in this country to continue to bankrupt this country. So yes, I said that. All right, so much for that politics right now. Sorry to report, ISIS continues beheading 21 Egyptians, Egyptian Christians. How about that this morning? Just goes on and on. Let's go into Gilmer County for a minute, and we're going to talk about the transportation bill, and you're going to want to listen to that. Again, we're going to talk to Tony Pritchett in a little bit. We have that scheduled coming up about today's storm and what to expect. But we're going to talk about the transportation bill in a little bit. You want to get people to listen to that because it affects rural counties. And I was on a radio show this weekend that I called in, and they talk about Atlanta, the metro, and what we have to do for the millennials. We have to do transit. We have to and so goes Atlanta, goes the rest of the state. Okay, but so goes Atlanta. Does that mean the rest of the state has to pay a tax increase? That we need to discuss. Gilmer and Fannin out there, you're on the edge of a tax increase. All of us are on the edge of a tax increase, but we need to bring it home of what it's going to cost. And this is going to be statewide. You're going to want to listen statewide. You want to call your friends, listen statewide. I've got some comments on that. And the reason it's important, because Fannin County and Gilmer County, well, let me just wait till I get to the transportation bill. First, let's talk briefly about this Thursday's Gilmer County special called meeting of the Board of Education. Thursday, there'll be a special called meeting at the Board of Education in Gilmer County at 5 p.m. Now, that special called meeting is to discuss personnel. So if you go to Gilmer County Board of Education or Gilmer County Schools, and you click on their website, you go to you click on their website, you will see board documents, and under board documents you will find the agenda. It'll say meeting agenda. So go to Gilmer County Schools, click on board documents, and under that you will find the agenda for Thursday, the special called meeting to discuss personnel. Now, it's come to me that I understand, and I said this a couple weeks ago, I've been saying this, they have to do two things. Now, we know we're in the hunt in Gilmer County for a head football coach. We know that. And I'm not going to defriend Wesley Tankersley on Facebook. Wes, Coach Tank, you'll always be my friend, but man, it's tough to see you out there posting stuff about, Ridgeland and meet the coach night. That's a little tough, but hey, we love you, Coach Tank. We understand you do what you got to do. I'm not going to defriend you on Facebook, but it's not easy to check out all those posts. Now I got sidetracked because we are in a hunt in Gilmer County for a head football coach. And at the same time, I said a couple weeks ago, there's two things they have to do. They have to decide on a head football coach, and they got to make a decision on superintendent of schools. So Jason Coons is currently the superintendent of schools, if you're listening out there. And Jason Coons got, I don't want to say got the job, but he got the job the night that Brian Dorsey was released, the former superintendent of schools, of his contract. Now, his contract runs out June 30th. Now, there's been a lot of controversy over the past year's advanced ed investigation review of Gilmer County Charter Schools. That has left a lot wondering, several wondering, would they have been quite the review of Gilmer County schools if Mr. Coons would have handled it differently? And that's the only way I can put it. There's a lot of questions on how the superintendent handled the onset of that review. There's a lot of questions around how the superintendent of schools handled several issues last year that came before him, but most of all, when the letter came February 3rd or 5th of 2014 to the superintendent of schools of Gilmer County, there's a lot of questions around how he handled that and how the review went last year, and would it have been as intense or a deep review if Mr. Coons would have handled it differently. So we say that in a roundabout way, bringing you up to speed. Now, at the end of the year last year, the Board of Education did a review of the superintendent of schools. And it's not just they did a review of him. It's owed to superintendent of schools to have a yearly review done. You're supposed to do a review. At that time, we do know here at FetcherNews.com, we do know that it was asked, he had asked them to renew his contract, to go ahead and take the time to do the review and go ahead and give him a 2-year contract. I do know that he asked them to do that. And they did not choose to do that in December of this past year. They did not choose to give him a new contract. That being said, his contract is up June 30th. And there's question right now on if they will renew Mr. Coons' contract. I said at the beginning of the year, we're in February now, I said somewhere around 3rd week of January or maybe 1st week of February, I said they owed it to him, they owed it to the school district, they owed it to the children, they owed it to the parents, the taxpayers, no matter who, to go ahead and get this decision done and over with. Because, you know, Mr. Coons needs to be able to look forward to another opportunity in a position, or he needs to be able to look forward to how to guide Gilmer County charter school systems in the next 2 years, whichever the decision may be. So I kind of push the Board of Education to make this, because if they're not going to renew his contract, then they need to, and I'm going to take one segment and say, yes, there's been 4 superintendent at schools in the last 8 years, you know, averaging 2 years per superintendent of schools. Now, 2 of those have retired. They weren't dismissed. Two retired their positions, and 1 was dismissed, and now Mr. Coons makes the 4th. I want to say just so we can have somebody for long term doesn't mean that the school system should enter into a contract with Mr. Coons if they don't feel it's the right thing to do. That's up to them. If they're going to move forward and not give Mr. Coons a contract and continue him as the superintendent of schools, they now, after this 4 superintendents in 8 years, they need to do a thorough search, if this is their decision. Because Thursday they're going to go in, and I don't know what they're going to come out with, but I'm pretty sure Thursday is the Board of Education going behind closed doors and making a decision on whether they're going to renew Mr. Coons' contract or not renew. Okay, that's Thursday. If they come out and renew his contract, then we know what's going to happen going forward. If they come out and don't renew his contract, then we need to hear from the Board of Education what kind of process they're going to put in place for a new superintendent of school search. Okay, so if that's the case, but we do know Thursday is a special called meeting at 5 o'clock over here at the Board of Education. Special called meeting, 5 o'clock at the Board of Education to discuss personnel. And that personnel is the Superintendent of Schools, Jason Coons. And in that discussion, I think we're going to come out of there with a decision on whether they're going to renew his contract as Superintendent of Schools or not. Okay, so that's one thing in personnel. The other thing that may get discussed in this, and again, this is executive session, so you know, so nobody can go in there, it's executive session. Also, the teaching position, the teaching position, the head coach's position at Gilmer County Schools is now on Georgia Teach. They're getting several resumes, so the head coaching position has several resumes in there. They're going to start interviewing, reviewing, and bringing it down to 5 or 6 for interviews immediately. So that's moving forward. So there may be some discussion in personnel concerning also the head football coach. The supplement for head football coach in Gilmer County, we're going to be watching real close on what they plan to pay this head football coach. We know we didn't decide to talk about head football coach pay, but while we're on there, we know what has taken place, and we're wondering what direction they're going to go with pay for a new head football coach. We hope to have that figured out by March's meeting, and so for those of you out there keeping track, we'll know more tomorrow on some of the, we'll make a call and find out more tomorrow on how many resumes are in and what direction that's going. So again, just wanted to highlight Thursday is a special. Now you can go over, you wonder executive session, you can go over, they have to open the meeting, okay? So if you out there are wondering, should I go to this meeting because it's only executive session, what they have to do is they have to legally open the meeting, okay? And they have to go into executive session. When they come out, any decision they make, they have to do in public. So if you'd like to be there at 5 o'clock, they're probably going to go in there and stay till 5:30, 5:45. I'm not for sure, so I don't know what time. To be safe, you come over at 5, sit there. When they come out of executive session, any personnel decision they make has to be public. So if they make a decision, in executive session Thursday at 5 o'clock, they will come out and announce it to the public immediately. Okay, so don't hesitate to come over and let's see. I have a message here. I had a message on the storm. So stay with us at 8 o'clock. We're going to stay with us at around 8 o'clock. We're going to get with EMA Director Tony Pritchett and have a live discussion with him on the storm, about 10 minutes. Have a live discussion with him on the storm and what's coming in today. You're watching Good Morning from the Office, chief@fetchernews.com. Send me your thoughts and your comments. Follow us on Twitter @FetchYourNews. So don't forget Amish Furniture up in Blue Ridge, and if you're up in Blue Ridge, Ace Hardware, and if you're in Pickens today, the Clock Tower Gifts and Boutique, located in Jasper, has everything covered for you. Go visit Clock Tower Gift and Boutique. That's a great store down there in Jasper. Now we're going to talk about. We told you about the special called meeting Thursday for the BOE. We're going to talk about the Tea Party a little bit. We're going to get them riled up just a little bit. We're going to talk about the Tea Party and the transportation bill. We have been bringing this up, and we keep talking about it, but I listened to some people speak this weekend. I read some articles, and we've been talking about the transportation bill and what it could do to Gilmer County and Fannin County. Let me just highlight something here before we get into it. Gilmer County Board of Education reported that they would lose $390,000, Gilmer County, a year if the current transportation bill gets passed. Fannin County reported they would lose $530,000 a year. Board of Education reported if the current transportation bill would pass. Let me explain something on Gilmer County and why you need to pay attention to this transportation bill and pay attention to what they're doing down in Atlanta in the Gold Zone. When you citizens passed, now let me explain this. When you citizens passed the SPLOST this past year, what you may not realize, it will take 3 6-year SPLOST. Okay, 3. You will have to vote a total of 3. You voted 1 in, you have to vote 2 more. It would take a total of 18 years to pay the debt, okay, in Gilmer County. So you have to vote 3 6-year SPLOSTs in. Now, just to pay the debt, the SPLOST in Gilmer County, and I said this on a radio show this weekend, the SPLOST in Gilmer County alone goes towards the debt for the citizens of Gilmer County. All of your SPLOST money. If this passes, all right, and they allow the county to raise your taxes 6 cents on excise tax, if they allow it to raise 6 cents, that's still not enough money to pay the debt and make the bond payment that you have in Gilmer County. You currently in Gilmer County pay $1 mil on your property taxes, in addition to the SPLOST money to pay your debt. So this will not work well for the citizens of Gilmer County and any other county that has the kind of debt. Now, is it the state's fault that Gilmer County went into this debt? Hey, no, I can't say it's the state's fault, but on the other hand, it's there, and if this transportation bill moves money from counties and cities, now, they came out and they said that the ACCG endorsed this transportation bill, and that's the Association of County Commissioners. Okay, the ACCG endorsed this. All right. So what they're doing is, what they did is, before the other day, before the meetings the other day, the counties were able to raise your taxes 3 cents on a gallon, and without any question, and your county commissioners could then put a referendum on the ballot. You could go and vote, the citizens could go vote and decide to put 3 cents of their own on there. That would be 6 cents. Well, what they did is they changed that now to where a county can just go, if this passes, your county commissioners could just go and vote in 6 cents tomorrow and never ask you a question. That's exactly right. Your local governments could just vote in their excise tax on fuel and never ask you. Yes, that's exactly right. That's why the ACCG now is they say endorsing this plan, okay? Now, another thing that is causing the counties to back down a little bit and not sound as upset is they have changed the definition of going to transportation, the money going to transportation. Let me explain that. What they said is all money collected on fuel tax, excise tax, has to go to transportation. All monies, okay? So even if a county got 6 cents, okay, and they had to put it on transportation, all right, use of transportation, now the definition of use is changing for the counties. So it's making it, and we're going to get that definition for you this week, but watch the change in the definition of use on transportation, of why the counties are starting to, what I say, accept this now. Now, last week, Grover Norquist, okay, some of you might not know him, but Grover Norquist, which is famous for making politicians sign a no tax pledge, okay, no new tax pledge. And Grover Norquist weighed in last week. Last Tuesday, Norquist Group condemned House Bill 170 as a massive tax increase. In past years, that verdict would have quickly brought pitchforks and nooses to state capitol. So last week, it was deemed a tax increase. Now, Jay Roberts, the representative from Ocilla, who has presented this House bill, is saying, "Hey, Norquist, stay in Washington D.C. where you belong. Don't come here. Don't tell us what to do." Now, here's what I like is they are trying to sell this, and I think this is my prediction. I think transportation. They're going to back off trying to sell this as a constitutional correction here soon. They have to. I mean, they're going to have to back off trying to sell this as a constitutional correction because Roberts and them are having problems now because Jay Roberts and them because funding transit in the bill is not constitutional. Okay, the members that are supporting House Bill 170 are calling it a constitutional fix, while admitting the transit dedication funding is unconstitutional. So let me tell you, when they first came up with this plan, all right, when they first came up with this plan and they started talking about it being a constitutional correction, here's my thought on this, and if you're still with me and you're interested, again, stay with us. We're going to talk about the state of emergency, the weather state of emergency with Chief Tony Pritchett in a little bit. But here's my thought. Tea parties. Did they get together and they come in and they said, remember 2 years ago the T-Splost, and we've talked about that, and they, that overwhelmingly 9 out of 12 districts overwhelmingly voted this disaster of T-Splost down. Tea parties came out strong in it, okay? Strong in it. Now, the Liberty Tea Party group in Gilmer County, and I'm talking from Gilmer County, the Liberty Tea Party group in Gilmer County, they put out a legislative update this past weekend, and on HB 170, they state they are leaning to opposing it if it raises taxes. Okay, now leaning to opposing it. Now I for one, now the Gilmer Tea Party, because there's 2 Tea Party groups in Gilmer County, they are opposing House Bill 170 because they're clear it raises taxes. So some of these Tea Party groups, here was my thought when they got together and said, how are we going to sell this? And I would like to know whose bright idea it was to say, I know. Now just picture this: they're down there in Atlanta, and they're getting together, and they're getting together, and they're saying, "Hey, after the Transportation Committee said we have to do this." Okay, the report says has to. Now, if you're out there and you're listening this morning, are you not going to admit, or are you going to say we have to do this? I mean, because I'm telling you, Jay Roberts says we have to do this. We have to do something. So they got together and they said, how do we get this past the Tea Party groups? How do we get a tax increase and it not be a tax increase? And how do we raise revenue? What is the game plan for getting this past the Tea Parties in Georgia? I know Tea Parties love constitutional corrections. They love it. How could you go to 100 people in a Tea Party meeting, 30 people? I've seen meetings with 20. How can you not go and just throw Constitution in the middle of a Tea Party and not come out a winner? I mean, I want to know whose bright idea was it to say, here's what we'll do. We'll make this a constitutional correction. Tea Party's got to love that. Then what we'll do is we'll grab a handful of people and we'll say, do us a favor, the Tea Party Trojan horse, okay? and we'll say, "Dude, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell this." They get a couple leaders of the Tea Party or people. Now, some of you get upset with me when I say leaders of the Tea Party. When you get some people out there that are outspoken in the Tea Party, they bring them in. They know they go to a lot of tea parties, have maybe some influence or speak to a lot of people. Now, tea parties all over the state have created these coalitions and alliances, and 7 and 8 of them will get together on a Saturday and go over legislation and things like that. And they are good information to go to them. But we'll get a couple of these people together, and they'll go out and they'll say constitutional correction. Now, you can't go wrong with a constitutional correction. How can you do that? Right? I want to know from those Tea Party leaders that are leaning to oppose, now that this is pretty much, if you're still with me and you're out there anywhere in the state, how many of those Tea Party leaders that are yelling, and I call them leaders, yelling, you know, constitutional correction, and it's about time the state do something to correct the Constitution, and you're leaning to oppose, how many of you have actually supported Norquist in his no tax pledge? And how many of you, since Grover Norquist has come out, I want to know each and every one of you, Liberty Tea Party group, leaning. Now, the Norquist, Grover Norquist's group deemed this a tax increase. Have you changed your mind, and are you going to oppose it? Is this a constitutional correction, or do they have to change? Jay Roberts admits the Constitution will have to be changed in order to include transit. Okay? We keep hearing we have to do this for the millennials in Atlanta. Okay? We keep hearing that. You know, the House of Representatives are going out there. There was a little radio show this weekend I listened to. Brett Harrell from Snellville, I think he's a representative out of Snellville. He goes on a little radio show, and he starts talking to the host. He says, my constituents, my voters out there know my record on tax increases. They know I've never raised taxes. I don't raise taxes. Now, he didn't say this, but it's almost like if he does it this time, they'll understand he had to. Now, I want you to know, Brett Harrell did not say that, but I listened to his whole interview, and he gave this long discussion and he gave this long comment on people know his record on raising taxes. And he would never sign a pledge like that. He would never do that, talking about Norquist. And it's almost like, if you listen to the interview, this one, it won't hurt to raise taxes one time. He goes on, even knowing, Representative Harrell goes on, even knowing in his comments that this is not a constitutional correction. Transit's not in there. Now, they're continuing to say, every time you listen to a representative, spend for the reason it's collected. They keep saying the money is collected for fuel tax, the motor fuel tax, and it's not being spent for that. Okay? So, he goes on, and that's Brett Harrell, representative out of Snellville, to say it's a constitutional correction, and he goes on this weekend to say the ACCG has endorsed it. I could get in the woods here, or the weeds, and this may not be understood. If you don't follow your local city governments and your local county governments very close, you may not understand this. But the local option sales tax, which gets renewed, I think, every 5 years, I'm going to say 5 years or 10, I'm not for sure, and some counties just went through this, renewing their local option sales tax, called it baseball arbitration, that this just went through this. And you might think this is so far off in the future. A lot of small cities do not have property taxes. Check it out. Small cities. Pretty sure East Ellijay does not have property tax. Okay? Pretty sure. A lot of small cities, their property tax is very low. Cities depend on SPLOST money. Cities depend on local option sales tax. Now, every time we say the word city, we get in the weeds of thinking Atlanta. We get in the weeds of thinking Marietta. We get in some of these, bigger cities, we get in the weeds of thinking that. A lot of your small cities in rural counties depend on local option sales tax. Yes, they do. And their portion of the SPLOST money, they look forward to that. And they rely on that to keep the property tax low. Okay? You will see that change. Once local cities have to come forward, small cities, and put transportation projects together to put those into the mix before they can get their transportation tax money, you're going to have a nightmare in these cities and counties. If you think, now this is my prediction, if you think you see, you remember, I'm going to stay local for a minute, but for you out there, maybe listening in Savannah, I have a couple of you, and maybe listening across the state as we talk about this transportation bill. If you out there think for 1 minute, remember the city of Blue Ridge. The city of Blue Ridge went to court with Fannin County, their county, over the local option sales tax. They went to court over it. So if you think some of these local option sales tax problems that these cities had with their local counties, I call them problems or disagreements, you wait till you see the court cases come up where cities are not getting their fair share of the transportation money because the county is not thinking that they're using it for transportation. Oh, you just wait. You just wait till these small cities end up in court with their own counties over transportation SPLOST money and over local option sales tax money. Okay? Roberts has doubled down on this. And Jay Roberts and the bill, I think it depends on how everybody wants to look at it and evaluate it. Some people will say, yes, it is. Now, this is Roberts, and we're going to end with this because we're going to get ready to call Chief Pritchett in a minute. Is it a tax increase? Is it a tax increase? Okay? And when Roberts was asked, was it a tax increase, he said, I think it depends on how everybody wants to look at it and evaluate it. Some people will say, yes, it is. Some people will say, no, it ain't, he said. That beauty is in the eyes of the beholder in essence. But the one label not in dispute, the House chairman would argue, is necessary. So the House Transportation Bill, they can't come to terms on is it a tax or not. But their battle cry is it's necessary. So I want to ask you this morning, we're talking transportation bill here on Monday morning because it's going to be big. Is it a tax increase? Is it a constitutional correction? Is it necessary? Is it necessary for the next generation? Is it necessary for downtown Atlanta to have transit system for the millennials? Is it necessary? I think it depends on however you want to look at it and evaluate it. Well, I'm going to say, Mr. Roberts, if your taxes go up 1 penny, it's a tax increase. Now, it may be necessary. I'm confused on, I'd like to know who came up with the great idea. I really would. Would somebody email me who came up with the great ideal that this is not a tax increase, it's a constitutional correction. Roberts goes on to say, in the bill we talk about dedicating money towards transit. See, he admits, they talk about, we realize you can't dedicate without constitutional amendment. We're looking at making a commitment within the state budget. Unfortunately, within the bill, I can't put something in for the budget. So it is time for the state of Georgia to step up and start putting money into transit. So that's from that's from Jay Roberts. And we're starting to get an admission, and I know the word admission gets sticky, but we're starting to get an admission that this has got a lot to do with transit, okay? Transportation bill, fixing roads and bridges, okay? Yes, that's true. We need road and bridge repairs. Why don't they do this? Why don't they just do a complete road and bridge list, period? Name the bridges, highway so-and-so, bridge 1, highway so-and-so, bridge 38, highway so-and-so. Why don't they just list them, put an estimated value together so we don't have this bank, this transportation bank. Why don't they put a listed value together, and why don't they come to the citizens and give them specific roads, specific bridges, and exactly how much they want to put into the transit and see if the citizens will accept it. Try that route. But I'm telling you now, a constitutional correction, is this necessary? Is it a tax increase? Okay? Is it a tax increase? Look at East Ellijay, the city of East Ellijay, no property tax. Watch what happens when they start losing SPLOST money and these cities have to recover. So I'm going to finish up, and I know I got a little. Is it a constitutional correction? Who came up with the bright idea? I know how condescending that sounds, but come on. Who came up? Who ran in? I love this. Who ran in and said, I got it, I got it, I got it. Constitutional correction. Tea parties can't argue that. They love the Constitution. Oh my God, don't tread on a Constitution. We win with the Tea parties as soon as we start saying that. Whose idea was that? I want to know whose idea was that. Do we need transit? Do we need it? What are they going to do with the schools? I asked the other day, and I would like to hear from you out there. What school district has said that this is a great idea? I want to see the letters from the school district. I have a letter from Gilmer County Schools, okay? I have a letter from Gilmer County Schools that says, please do not. The Board of Education of Gilmer County sent their representative a letter saying, please do not support House Bill 170. So that's on transportation. We're going to keep talking about that. I want to know from you. Chief@FetcherNews.com. Chief@FetcherNews.com. Send me your answers, what you want to say about the transportation bill, what you think about it. You're watching Good Morning from the Office. I'm BKP. If you did not get that perfect night's sleep, go to Mattress Overstock next to Walmart and Ellijay. Go see Gary, Richard, or Rhonda, the mattress lady, for the best mattress at the best price. They truly want to help you sleep better. That's Mattress Overstock. Go out and check out Amish Furniture at Ace Hardware, Blue Ridge. So it is right now, if you have sports, send it to lt@FetcherNews.com. If you have sports, send it to lt@FetcherNews.com. We're going to run through the sports highlights before we close our show today because they're so exciting. We're going to run through those again. So if you're just joining us, it is 8 o'clock. We're going to 2 minutes. Call people now at 7:58. Tell them to go to FetcherNews.com. Good Morning from the Office. And tune in because we're going to talk to Chief Tony Pritchett, EMA Director of Gilmer County, about the state of emergency. Go and tell people to do that now so they won't miss what's going on in the upcoming storm. Let me, 7:59 here. Again, send us your sports at lt@FetcherNews.com. You're watching Good Morning from the Office. Let's call Chief Pritchett and get an update on our weather here in North Georgia. Going to try to figure out the phones if you're listening. Give me just a second.
Hello.
Good morning, Chief Pritchett. This is Brian Pritchard, FetcherNews.com. Good morning from the office. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
State of emergency has been put in place by the governor, Chief Pritchard. Let me just let everybody know this is Chief Tony Pritchard, Director of Gilmer County EMA. Chief, we know the governor's put a state of emergency in. Could you just let us know what the timeline is and what you think the storm and what the updates you have?
At this point right now, we're just looking at the latest radar runs from the National Weather Service, trying to figure out where and what we could expect. At this point, we're still seeing a movement of what appears to be more of an ice event at this point. They had originally forecast precipitation to start after daybreak, but the system has kind of slowed down, which is going to push it to probably up in the late morning hours. The amounts right now at this point are still unknown. However, the forecast is around a quarter-inch of ice, isolated amounts of half-inch, and higher elevations throughout the county. We do expect a amount of snow. We're just not sure how much at this point. As far as the duration of time, as you've seen most of the forecasts, there is no projected increase in temperatures over the next couple of days that would make any difference. So this is a really, it's a very unique situation that we're trying to get a grasp on based on the information given to us by the Weather Service. We're still just waiting on the latest data and to be able to pass along to you guys as it's made available to us.
Chief, what exactly is the governor has put Gilmer County in Fannin County? I don't know if Pickens is in it at this time, but what is a state of emergency?
A state of emergency basically is an order given by the governor which frees up state resources and the response more fluid without as much issue without the order being in place.
Chief, you were breaking up there. I don't know if you were in a bad place. Could you just recap on what a state of emergency is? I lost your signal there.
So what a state of emergency is, it's basically the governor issues an order to place certain areas of the state under that state of emergency, which makes state resources available to jurisdictions for assistance more fluidly without having to go through some of the processes as you would without the emergency being in place.
So if this storm was to get into an area where we couldn't locally handle it with our equipment and resources, a state of emergency would allow the state to get involved with equipment or resources or help ASAP?
That's correct.
Now, I've often been told that, sometimes a snowstorm is hard to handle, but a snowstorm is easier, might I say, than an ice storm. What is the difference in trying to manage an ice storm in this kind of condition as a snowstorm?
In an area such as ours, those type of storms can be difficult to deal with. Obviously, snow in its original form is the most easy because as far as the roadways are concerned, it does push off relatively quickly and easy and doesn't have the effect on the trees and power lines. However, with snow that's been laying, that has become packed on the road, becomes ice, and that becomes a different situation at that point. As far as an ice event in our area, it's a concern to us, especially in the fact that there are a lot of trees and tree limbs that are over most of our power line grid throughout the county. Any quantity of ice that lands on those elevated surfaces of power lines and tree limbs with any wind that comes through it all can make for a pretty disastrous situation, everything from power outage to road blockage to many other issues that go along with it.
Chief, what is the best way for people to stay informed and up to date on what's taking place with the storm, and how are you getting information out to people?
Information coming from our organization is Gilmer EMA Facebook. Also, we are communicating through the county's emergency notification system, which we hope everyone is registered for. If you're not, you can go on the Gilmer County Commissioner's website, and there is a link to go to that will register. That system, you can customize your own alerts. As far as the most real-time information that you can refer to, with what's coming from us as far as the forecast and things like that, you can go to the Facebook for real-time information.
One more question. Have you been in talks? Is the entire county been in talks, from the Department of Transportation to Chairman Paris to the Sheriff's Office? Have all of you guys had any communication to discuss the storm?
Yes, we have all been in communication. Just before I was speaking to you, I was in a meeting with Director Smith for the Public Works. He has all the preparations being made at that department. They're ready to go. I've been in close contact with Chairman Paris, who has been made aware of the situation, and we're just trying to get out with communication amongst all the county agencies so we're all on the same page and can respond effectively.
Well, Chief Pritchett, we appreciate it. We always support our first responders here at FetcherNews.com, and we've been through several storms together, so we appreciate it, and we know here that all of our first responders are ready to go in Gilmer County. And again, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. We'll be back in touch as this storm develops. If there's anything, and don't hesitate to call us, Chief, to let us help get any information out we can.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it. We've been on the line with EMA Director and Fire Chief Tony Pritchett. You hear here in Gilmer County, there's a possibility this storm is slowing a little bit. There's a possibility of ice, and I will tell you this: ice. I would personally rather see 3 inches of snow, like he said, in its original form, and we go out there, we move it off the highway, we play in it, and we move on. Ice storms, I tell you what, they start snapping power lines, tree limbs, and I for one have my prayers that it's not a tough ice storm. And I never make light of a storm, but be careful out there, because it is President's Day, and most of the county offices, all county offices and cities and everything is closed today. So the only traffic on the highway this morning is Storm Tracker 1 through 92 from Atlanta up here to see a snowflake. You know, we got Biff over here, Biff with Storm Tracker 12 in Fannin County at the Fannin County Courthouse. Biff, what are you seeing? I don't know. We're here at Fannin County Courthouse, and this is Biff with Storm Tracker 12, and we hear a snowflake will fall any minute, but as soon as we have an update, we'll let you know. Just in, 3 miles west of here, we heard somebody slipped in their driveway. We don't know yet if it was a result of a snowflake, but we're checking on it now. Biff, Storm Tracker 12 up here in Fannin and Gilmer County. So be careful with those traffic of all those storm trackers up here to see snowflakes fall in ice. I know that wasn't nice. But it's just, I just always crack up. There's no bread and milk at the grocery store. I don't know who put that law in effect that you have to go get bread and milk. There's people that don't even drink milk, eat bread, but they go get it off the shelf because it's like the law in a storm or something. All right, well, we thank you. Good morning from the office. We're going to do one thing we normally don't do, but we want to do a rollover again of sports. If you were not here at 7 a.m. when we started, we're going to go through it real quick because it was a great weekend for the young men and women. And here at FetcherNews.com, we always highlight these young men and women in our sports programs. So, Fannin County Wrestling. Fannin County High School Wrestling had its first state tournament win in 4 years. Congratulations, Rebels. And the first participants in 2 years, with Caleb Chansey finishing 1 match short of a guaranteed placing. Head coach David Hinson was very excited about the direction of the program and expects to have more participants in the upcoming year. So congratulations, Rebels. Pickens Dragons. Colby Milner won Pickens High School's first wrestling state championship in a decade when he became the 4A state champion at 106 pounds. Way to go, Dragons. Gilmer Bobcats, the Gilmer High School Bobcats wrestling team, won its 15th state title, winning the Quad A state title by 73 points over second place Marist. The Bobcats ended up with 10 place winners, 8 finalists, and 4 champions. Lucas Patterson, 132. Jamie Lopez, 152. Matthew Waddell, 170. And Levi Seabolt, 285. all won state championships. Domingo Reynoso, 106. Trevor Pierce, 113. Marcelino Lopez, 120. And William Girder, 145. All placed second. Alberto Lopez and Kagan Sharp placed fifth at 126 and 138 respectively. Gilmer Lady Cats, hey, we're state basketball starts tomorrow night for Quad A, and the Lady Cats win 7 Quad A champs with a win over Northwest Whitfield. Lady Bruins 50-40 this Saturday champions. They will be the first seed. Gilmer has a home game tomorrow night. Over here, Gilmer Lady Cats will host Madison County 4th seed of Region 8. That's at 6 o'clock. Way to go, Pickens Dragonettes over Heritage 53-49 in an overtime winner to secure the 3rd seed. Netties will play at Chastity at 6 o'clock against the 8th seed Chastity at the 8th seed. That's Tuesday night, 6 p.m. So way to go, Dragonettes. If you have sports and we're not highlighting it, send it to lt@fetchernews.com. Get all your sports information to lt@fetchernews.com. Go to our Facebook page and check out our dog of the day. All right, we always get that on our Facebook page. Follow us at #FetcherNews. at Fetcher News, #Team FYN Sports. Send us your emails, chief@fetchernews.com. We are looking for a producer to help me with this show from 6 to 9. Good morning from the office. We're looking for a producer to do that. Amish Furniture in Blue Ridge at Ace Hardware. My friends at LJ Fitness, check out their Facebook page. Go to Clock Tower Gift and Boutique in Jasper. And don't forget, the best hair care salon is Magic Touch Beauty Salon, Clock Tower 3. And that is our show this morning on Monday. We will keep you up with all the sports. We'll keep you up with all the storm information. As you heard Chief Pritchett earlier, we have a state of emergency in North Georgia. Looks to be mid-morning as moisture starts setting in to possibly turn to ice. So we'll keep you up on all of that this morning. Higher elevations. Some of you in the lower elevations will say, well, it's just raining all day. Go in these higher elevations, just start off the main road, up a little elevation, and you'll see a major difference with the ice and accumulation there. Again, have a nice day. We will see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. live. Good morning from the office.